Today I have an Akai amplifier. This one's an AMU2. This would be from the early 80s, 82, 83. I'm thinking somewhere in that era. And this one here, I haven't even checked it out yet. So let's plug it in and see what it does. Today I'm going to work on this Akai AMU2. I think that's what this one is. AMU2. Yes, now I have an AMU02, which is probably very similar to this one. The AMU02 had a slide volume control as opposed to a rotary volume control. Don't know anything about this unit. This is one that came from that estate that I picked up some stuff at. So let's turn it on. I've got it hooked up. I've got a signal applied to it. And let's turn it on and see what it does. Okay, I hear music immediately playing, even though the volume control is turned all the way down. So, looks like the volume control may have a problem to start. Says turn. The left channel is working now, not the right. So this one's going to have some issues. Let's pull this one apart and just take a look at the construction and see what's wrong with it. If we look at the bottom of this one, it actually has a removable bottom cover, but it's not metal. It looks like it's wood with just some foil on it. Let's take a look underneath this. Underneath this cover and see. So it's a wood cover with a metallic shield on it. That's the bottom of this. Too cheap to even put a real metal cover on it. How cheap can you get? This is going to be an IC output on this one for sure. My AMU02 has 2 Darlington power packs in it, so it's not really an output module on it. It uses a voltage amplifier and which is a thick film module, and 2 output packs, which just basically have 2 Darlington transistors in each one. This one here, I think it's a little bit newer than my AMU02. I don't know if I've shown you guys that or not. If not, I'll dig it out because I still have it. It was the first, you know, everyone says I kept the very first stereo I bought with my own money. That was the first stereo that I bought. Tuner and I still use the tuner. But the amplifier I retired eons ago. The AMU02 has a dual power supply in it, whereas this one's a single. I think it only has 1 transformer though, but it has a dual power supply. But this one here is just a single power supply. So what do we have on this? It's a pretty simple amplifier. A couple capacitors, and it has an STK463 amplifier module. This amplifier module itself, 25 to 30 watts per channel is all you can expect on one of these. But they were fairly reliable over the years. There's no relay on this to kill the speakers if something does go catastrophically wrong, but it should, the chip itself should protect your speakers. They have internal protection. These chips were made by Sanyo. They look at the connections on the bottom here. Look to see if there's any bad connections. A lot of these modules, a lot of these amplifier modules, the connections went bad just due to heating and cooling. Amazing, they actually look pretty good. I don't see any solder connections that really cause me any concern whatsoever on this unit. So I'm going to put the bottom cover back on this one because I don't think it's necessary to even go anywhere any further than what I've gone. That's looking good. Together, I don't see much wrong with this other than some of the switches and controls are dirty. At least that's all I can see right now. We might find more as I get into this a little more, but let's proceed to clean the controls. The control on this one's actually very easy to get to. Unlike some, I can actually just spray it right into the back of the control here. The control is positioned in such a way that I can get into the control. Well, at least from this side I can. I don't know about the switches, but I can get in here and clean this one without too much effort. As you can see, this thing's mostly a big empty box. Oh, I don't have right channel. Ah, the right channel's gone all distorted. Well, isn't that nice? This does have a problem. Is it the switch, though? I'm wondering. Oh, it's just the switch. Okay. So I got to clean the switch here too as well. Let's clean these switches. They're right down here. And to clean these switches, I think I'm going to have to remove them to do it, because the only way I'm going to get cleaner is in from the front. So to do that, I'm going to have to remove the front panel. So we'll remove the screws here that hold the front panel on. Turn this into a little bit more of an involved video. This one should come apart relatively easy, I think. A couple of screws on the bottom, and with a little bit of luck, this whole front piece. Oh, I bet you the knobs will have to come off. Yeah, I bet you the volume knob and everything has to come off, so we'll just kind of take that off and take off the bass and treble knobs. These are kind of recessed knobs. They're flush. They don't stick out at all on this unit. And now the front panel should, I think, come off. No, it doesn't. It doesn't, because there's a wire tie here with some wires that go to the little lights that light up that don't come off. So we'll just cut this wire tie. That'll at least give me a little bit of slack so that I can tip this up out of the way and remove the screws that hold the input board in place. Yes, it has a nice little vacuum fluorescent display which shows you your power output in watts. I can unplug the front lights on here. Just lift up this gate and lift out the cable for the lights on the front. And the switches should lift out of here. Just like that. Okay, I want to get down into the front of the controls here to get some cleaner into them. And this is probably the best way to do it. Should be able to get cleaner down in amongst the control here, like into the bottom of the switch, which should work its way into the contacts from down and through here. I feel like a trumpet player. Never played a note in my life. Not the trumpet, anyway. Okay, that's probably clean enough for these controls. I'm sure that I've worked that cleaner through the switch contacts. And they should be good for several more years, I would hope. So next I'll put the controls back into place and reattach the screws, and then we'll put the unit back together and test it and see how it's working. Okay. We will hook up a turntable to this thing as well. Play some vinyl on it. Make sure that the preamp and everything is functioning properly. Okay, front panel goes back on like that. And a couple of screws that hold the front panel in place. Then we'll reconnect all of the controls, or the switches on the lights on the front. Put the other controls back on, and then we'll plug in a turntable. And maybe I'll even put an Akai turntable on it. I'll go grab a vinyl that I might be able to get away with playing for more than 5 seconds, as I did the last time. That's the Langley Community Band from 1973. That my cousin played in that band and got recorded. When he was in high school. I won't put the high school band part on. I'll put the side B on, because that one had a kind of a neat tune, and we'll see what happens. Okay, put the knobs back on. The bass and treble controls, to make sure that they're in the centered position. Yeah, they're center. They have an indent. These were not controls that I was a big fan of. The knobs on these ones are basically flush with the front cabinet. And how you operate them is you turn it like that. So you put your finger on it and you actually crank it. They have a rough edge here, indentations, so you can grip it with your finger and turn it. That's how you adjusted the volume on these units. Just say, not my favorite from an aesthetics. I don't think they look even that hot, but for not having knobs sticking out, give it that flush appearance on the front. I guess they did what they wanted to do. Let's hook up the lights for the front. The lights reconnected. Power tuner. Let's just see how much power this does have. This doesn't have a. Mine has a switch, so you can switch the meters between 0.1 and regular power. Let's just see how high this goes. Yeah, it peaks out. Well, looks like it's peaking out around 50 watts, but guaranteed it's gonna be full of distortion at that level. For sure. I like this. They call it DC Servo 2-stage amplifier, fluorescent display. Gotta make sure those switches aren't acting up anymore. those ones could use the shot of cleaner and the bass and treble controls. We'll give these a shot of contact cleaner. Well, I'm triggering somebody right now for sure, because I'm spraying the controls when it's powered up. I already triggered somebody last week. I got an email from somebody who was concerned that I was spraying controls when the thing's powered up. Like spraying a control when it's powered up is going to do any damage to it. It's not, by the way. Let's put some vinyl on this thing and see how vinyl plays on this receiver. Or I shouldn't say receiver, amplifier. No tuner on this one. Yeah, the turntable's bigger than the amplifier itself. Does the cueing arm work? It should work on this. I think this turntable works. It's probably going to go through the reject cycle here because it's been sitting around for a while. So let's try that again. Oh, this is a fully automatic. Okay, well, let's try that. Will that do it? Maybe not. Pop. The springs are shot on this so that the cover won't stay up. Better with the loudness off. Loudness on, loudness off. And what I just played there was one called All About the Blues. It's by this was performed by the Langley Secondary School Stage Band. 1972 was when this was recorded. That was I think that was the stage band there. Anyway, my cousin's in there. That's him right there playing a French horn. Anyway, that's it for this one. I guess this unit is now ready to sell. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.